So my question is, as a company driver, do you see yourself treated differently as a company driver compared to what it was like after 3 years of becoming an owner-operator? Was there favoritism? Did you see yourself struggling to get more loads, more freight, more home time? What?
Well, basically, it all depends on whether you want to work or not. Because if you don't want to work, they're not going to babysit you and treat you, with the kindness they would treat someone that's, hey, man, just give me a load. I got to go. Give me a load. I got to go. As long as you want to work, it works out.
So what you're saying is you're hungry and you knew that you had responsibilities because if not, there was no money. She was probably going to beat you with a frying pan.
I got rid of
You had responsibilities.
I got rid of all those
at my house.
And you know, by being in driver's lounge and truck stops, there's the side of the fence to where they're talking to their wives and they're like, oh yeah, babe, I'm going out working hard. But in reality, they're sitting in the driver's lounge or the truck stop and they're turning down every load. Sure. So I'm glad you're saying that, hey, you have the drive and you have to be hungry because it is a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And all these years, I haven't changed my pattern or my drive as far as my work ethic. Mm-hmm. I haven't done that. So therefore, that's why it works for me. Because once you change your work ethic and you be like, well, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do it any day. I put it to you that way. There's no day that I want to get up and leave home and go do this, but I do it because that's who I am and that's the way that I was raised.
It's funny. I passed Steve on the freeway into work, and he's driving like my grandfather. And I always have to talk smack to him when he gets back I see him at the office.
Safety
good
first.
job.
Safety first.
Safety.
Safety first. That's right.
He transfers that to his personal vehicle.
Oh, he drives slow?
Because he's used to driving on the right lanes.
Oh,
right?
that's him all the time.
Because that's what he does in the big truck. So when I'm on the freeway in my car, it is not the right lane at all.
Get over there. Get over there.
At all.
So you're kind of like Linda, the speeder.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm like,
that's funny.
But he's always like that.
Because I tell people, I always have plenty of time to do what I need to do because if I have to leave early, I leave early. If I have to be there at a certain time, I get there and why should I rush when I can just leave early instead? I don't stop at every truck stop or whatever. I just, I'll stop, I'll get me something to eat or, whatever, some water or whatever I need. And I start my day. And once I start my day, I don't like stopping 2-3 times because it's wasted my time.
Right.
Right. So you don't try to stop at the Morongo or Trump 29 to retire. Big. Okay.
No, none of that.
Okay.
So I got a question.
Yes.
So 19 years.
19 years.
Prior to that, what did you do? What brought you into trucking?
Before I started driving truck, I worked at Phelps Dodge in El Paso. It's where they get all the copper from the mine. They take it over there. We would process it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. And then, everybody was having cutbacks. So I left there. I even worked for Walmart.
Oh, were you the Walmart greeter?
Were you a
Welcome to
door
Walmart.
greeter?
No, I was unloading trucks at the time. Yeah, I was unloading trucks, and I was like,
hard work.
I was like, I think the trucking business is a lot easier than this here, because the Walmart driver brings it in, drops it off, and you're like, it's a mess. It's just like everything's just like thrown in there, and so after that, I was like, I went to school for HVAC. I was going to do that, and I was like, man, this takes too long. Yes, seriously, I was like, this is going to take me forever. I don't want to do this. And so I said, yeah. So I just got into trucking and been here ever since.
Wow.
Been here ever since.
So before night, did you work for another company or just?
I worked for Shippers Transport out of El Paso. They went under. I worked for Watkins Motor Lines out of El Paso. They sold theirs to FedEx, I think. And I called night one day, and they was like, come on down. Did my orientation, and been around ever since.
So
wow.
I never knew the story on that. I thought you had somebody in your family.
So then you said, I'm going to go work for night transportation. Honey,
Yes.
we're moving.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, we weren't even together at the time.
Oh.
We knew each other at the time. Well, we've known each other for, 25?
Since 1993.
Yeah, forever. That's why when she said 17 years, I said, damn, we've been married that long? See, so,
right?
Yeah.
She meant dog
known
years.
each other.
Hey, dog years.
Yeah.
But no, there was nobody in my family in the trucking business. And, like I said, I just got into it and I just stuck with it. And like I said, I have no relatives right now that's in the trucking business.
That's awesome.
Yeah, owner operator is a tough business. So I'm just going to share this with you. I give you props, number one, for being successful business operators. I went in with a couple guys a few years ago, and we had this crazy idea to go out and get a truck. And so the truck was around $25,000. My dad's been in diesel mechanic for a long time. And we thought, okay, we have a mechanic. You thought you had everything figured out with the tires, the maintenance, the fuel, all of that. Well, it did really well for like the first year. Okay. And then we got the phone call from the driver that the truck was broken down in Texas. And so we got a hold of my father. They crippled this truck up to Knoxville, Tennessee. And after they started tearing into it, the $25,000 truck ended up having a bill at the end of $40,000 just for the motor. Because you can't see inside. So I know a lot of people who their stories aren't as successful as you guys. And a lot of people that I talk to now are very scared to take that chance because the companionship over here, they don't understand what the industry. So I want you to just a quick shout out to what advice would you give over the younger? What would you offer advice on somebody new to the industry and how to be successful and how to deal with it?
Yeah.
Well, like I say, you can't, once you get into this business, okay, this business is about, you're not going to be home every day. You're not going to be home every night. You got to have somebody there that's going to support you as far as, okay.
While you're over the road.
Yes, they know what you're doing. Okay, I'm out providing for us. Okay, so therefore, while I'm out providing for us, as long as that you got that support system, you'll be fine. You can't be out there whining and moaning, I want to go home. Well, you need to get a different job because this is not a job for people that likes to be home every day. And if you're out there and you're not doing, because there's to me, I said, it's like a system that's out there. And if you're not following the system, you can't see it. But if you're not following it, the road will eat you alive. It will eat you up if you're out there and you're half-assed doing what you're doing. The road will eat you alive. Yeah. So there's a lot of guys that get out there and they're like, well, I didn't know it was this hard. It's really not that hard. You just got to be patient. You got to be patient and you got to do you and you do the things that you're comfortable with, because everybody, once they get out there, they develop their own pattern to what they do and how they do things. And, and as long as you stick to your pattern, and let those other guys stick to their pattern and do what they do, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like me. If I, as far as my truck go, my equipment, I can hear a noise that I didn't hear yesterday. I take it straight to the shop. Mm-hmm. And I say, look, I find it, fix it.
Right.
So maintenance, make sure that
you got to make sure your equipment is running 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Sometimes you might be in the shop 2 days.
Thank you for watching that clip. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more clips like that, please click here.
Or if you'd like to check out a full episode, click here.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on
YouTube.